Greetings, everyone. It is I, Ron, and the masked gentleman here on the other screen is the long-lost Joseph Perdue, who has finally returned from the nether regions of the cosmos. I do believe that he may be the reason why we are having so much strange UAP activity. Welcome back, Joseph.
Welcome to Wild and Weird Radio Live, everybody.
He's been wanting to do that for a while.
I have been. Yeah, we've been sitting on that for, gosh, it's been at least 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So,
it's been a while. You picked a good time to come back, apparently. So, just slightly, just in the middle of an alien invasion, apparently. It's all good.
It's nuts. Russ Bailey says, hey, the Deucer is back in the house. What's going on? Ron sounds like he's talking through a kazoo. Dial back your gain here.
Copy that. Hang on. See what's going on with that.
Dogs. Hey, Ron. Hey, Joe. Hey, who all, real quick, coming out to see us this weekend?
Hey, Joe, you take over for a second. I'm going to drop out and pop back in. I think something's up.
You got it. So who all's going to be there with us this weekend at Wytheville? We've got a tremendous presentation planned. It's going to be an absolute blast. Oh yeah, Russ, you're absolutely right. A absolute metric ton of new data has been released this week, and it's we're blown
Any better? We good there?
Yeah, a little bit better. Crank back just a hair. Just
about
a hair
there.
overdrive.
There. Okay.
At least for my audio, you sound great.
Everybody out there, let's know how we sound because we're having some weird audio issues tonight.
Russ says he will be there ready to talk UFOs. Spooky's going to be there. We're
Good.
In person. Cannot wait. Hey, look who else is here. Pat finally made it. Hey, everybody.
Hey, welcome aboard.
Unless there's a wreck on 81. Yeah, you guys had a really nasty wreck out on 81 today. It closed everything down. It looked like a semi went and flipped over. Ask me why I know these things. I think it's like just part of my hobbies to now know like all the traffic conditions down the East Coast.
Yeah, apparently. That's phenomenal.
Boone! Holy crap.
My gosh, look at that.
In the house. For those of you who don't know Boone is a legend. This guy is he's part of the family.
That's better.
Can't wait to spend some time with him again. Boone's a great guy. Adam Good with the super chat. Holy crap. Thanks, man. Thank you, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Adam. Adam is a generous supporter of the show and has been for a while now.
Adam said that's just for you, Pabs. There's a wreck on 81 most days. All right, so this week, guys, we have a rather information-packed show, don't we, Ron?
We have an information-packed show. It was just really, we were just going to talk about, some of the recent stuff that was coming out and kind of hype up our presentation for Wytheville, which was the case for contact, which seems to have already been case closed at this point. So,
right.
But not really, because there's a little bit of how we may have gotten there, and I think that's going to be even more eye-opening because all this kind of lends credibility to that, which is terrifying, in my opinion. I don't mean terrifying in a way that, the military-industrial complex may want you to think that this news is terrifying. I just mean that it's terrifying as in the way that we predicted this, and it's going almost by the book.
By clockwork.
Almost by the book. There's only been a couple of little things that didn't happen.
Everybody who has listened to our New Year's show knows what kind of timeline has been laid out each year and how eerily accurate we are.
Yeah, it's been very accurate, which is very, very strange. But I don't know if you guys are going to hear this or not. I made a little presentation thing for us tonight. We're going to try out a new toy. We're going to see if it works. If it does, wonderful. If not, tell us after this plays, and then we will paraphrase that for you and explain to you exactly what's going on. But we're going to assume at this point that everybody's already heard the the interview that was broadcast by News Nation with Grush, and we're going to take it from there. Tonight, we will be talking about not just that, but about how we may have gotten here and why are these things crashing, Joe? You know, things like that, right?
Right.
So we're going to cover a few things, and by all means, please share this out to people. This is a pretty good episode. It's very relevant, and it's interesting in light of the news that we had today as well. Because I got woke up this morning by breaking news from supposed another landing crash, etc.
Yeah.
This one happened just a month ago, so it's all just snowballing at this point. So, and of course, we're right in the middle of the snowstorm as always, but that's where we like to be. So, that being said, let me go ahead and hit the share screen over here, and you guys, like I said. Let us know if you have any problem hearing at the end of this, and we will paraphrase.
Spooky says he shares out a few places already. Thanks, man.
Thank you, my friend. PowerPoint, I believe. Is that the one? Oh, hang on a second.
So, everybody who's hanging out with us right here, what has
guys.
been the most mind-melting piece of information that you've gathered from this week? Just drop it in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead and do that while I get this thing prepped up.
And we will. I'm gonna be marking these as we go, so we'll be addressing them on the show as we're cruising through.
Yes, please do. Okay, I got it. It's queued up. Here we go. We're ready to roll now.
Russ says, "Sorry to wake you this morning."
Oh no, man! Wake me up anytime there's an alien invasion. It's cool.
Right.
It's it's kind of like that scene from Independence Day. Except.
That's right, guys. Everybody hit that like button.
Yes, hit the like buttons and the subscribes, all that stuff. Do your thing, man. Where's it at? I just had it. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Okay, that came up, right?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Hang on. It's doing something stupid. Hang on, guys. Bear with me.
Technical difficulties here.
Technical difficulties. Anyway, by all means, keep asking your questions too, because we're definitely we're in the whole let's answer questions mode tonight. That's
right.
Sure.
We really are, because we've been keeping our finger on the pulse of this for some time, and we knew that somewhere around June, July of this year that we were going to get some kind of massive information drop, because that's normally when it happens.
Well, it was predicted too.
It was.
But
it was predicted. It was predicted after we'd already made our prediction.
It was predicted last year by Gary Nolan. He said that there was a whistleblower that was getting ready to come forward, but
he didn't put a time frame.
No, but it seems like we were
getting ready to happen.
Yeah, but we've seen over the past few years, almost in spring, every spring, it's like when the flowers come up, the UFOs come out. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Tis the season for disclosure. Okay. Now we're ready.
Yeah, the audio is not cooperating, guys. We're sorry about that. So what you're watching right here is some of the News Nation clips, and this is the interview that was done with the 37-year-old U.S. Air Force veteran, the Lieutenant Grosh, and he was a intel officer and was one of the highest in regard of their intelligence level that they were allowed to go and see and have access to. And this week, he's, as you can see by the text there, he's claimed that we've had non-human contact, that we've found non-human crashes. And these announcements seem to be, if I can be completely honest, the way and the suddenness, the atmosphere that surrounded this feels a whole lot like the atmosphere that surrounded Bob Lazar. The way there was this sudden announcement that, hey, somebody's gonna leak something. There's an article. This guy's whistleblowing, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it goes from like whistleblowing in the newspaper to right on a camera screen.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, there's no doubt about there's a definite similarity that's going on here. It almost sounds like if you really look at it, it's all playing out again, except for this time it's with an ex-CIA guy. It's an official government individual. It's not somebody who they're trying to basically say you don't exist. And what's really funny is they're not trying to say this guy doesn't exist. So what's that mean? I think that kind of has to come out too. It's like, well, are they, was this directed? And I think we're going to find out that, yeah, this was directed. This was actually planned, and to show you
real quick to address this question.
Yeah, go ahead.
We don't have a time set to be out there to go do some investigations just yet, but we're working on, as soon as our schedule slows down, to be able to get up there and do something. Go ahead.
Just to show you the parallel as to what is going on, I found this, and you'll love it, and you should be able to hear this one.
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
That was old Dennis from back in 1989.
Yeah.
1989. And what did he just say? He said there was nine discs. And that's literally what you're hearing this guy say. He's saying the same kind of stuff, I'm determined to let you guys hear this because it's so important that I'm uploading the videos right now in real time. That's how determined I am, because that's what we do here. It's breaking news.
This what Gorsh was saying is that basically we're in possession of a lot of crashed spacecraft or exotic craft, as he referenced. Yeah. They were of non-human origin. And like James had mentioned just a moment ago, non-human is a really broad statement. It doesn't necessarily mean
no, it doesn't.
Extraterrestrial.
He doesn't say extraterrestrial, by the way.
No,
I think that's important. He says could be.
He says could be extraterrestrial, could be extra-dimensional.
Extra-dimensional.
The way the physics of this stuff works, it's working off of quantum mechanics.
Yeah, but the important part is,
I've been told that there have been attempts to bring down craft, that we've acted offensively against non-human craft.
There have been instances, and there are certain techniques.
Have human beings been hurt or killed by a non-human intelligence?
While I can't get into the specifics because that would reveal certain U.S. classified operations, I was briefed by a few individuals on the program that there were malevolent events like that. We're in a competition with their adversaries to understand this, and it's a multi-decade Cold War that has been under our nose for so long.
Which is exactly what we've said for how long? I mean, we've literally called this, the shots on this from I think from day one, as far as it goes, And it's one of those things. It's like it's so surrealistic. You don't even, you can't even contemplate. Is this actually happening? Like it's that crazy. I just got off the phone with Michael Carter there this morning. Actually, he called me, and he's like, "Can you?" I was talking to him. He was like, "Can you believe this?" And he's like, "Well, you got to, you got to be careful what you are believing." And he's right about that, because I think that some of this, it's just too orchestrated, and we're gonna show you it really is orchestrated. I'm not in that fake alien invasion camp. I told you that from day one. I think that it's not an invasion. I think something else is very much going on. But do you think that the U.S. military is going to miss an opportunity? The Department of Defense is going to miss an opportunity to figure out some way to make money off this? You're crazy if you think that they're going to do that. They are definitely going to do that.
So, in reference to this, according to Bob or Dennis, which we found out later was Bob Lazar, Bob's account says that they were 9 discs. He didn't say how different they were, but that they were all found in ancient ruins sites underground, almost like in an underground hangar, but that they were very old, and that we had them in our possession. And
They were in varying conditions, I believe, is what he
yes,
said originally.
varying conditions, and that's what allegedly we were playing with at the time.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, apparently there's been this concerted effort to literally gather these things. To any of the Stargate fans, from the series, are seeing a huge parallel in some of the stuff that's going on here. It's insane. Go ahead and fix the screen back where it was. Is that how it was? Yeah, that's how it was.
Yep.
I'm going to see if we don't have any sound on this one, so it should work just fine.
Yeah.
So there.
Is ex-CIA agent spreading misinformation.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. That's the whole thing. That's what we have to be very careful about. But this is a fact. This isn't, this is from him. So it just plays into everything that we know at this point. And he says from nearly 90 years, the United States and their allies have recovered fragments of objects and exotic objects, damaged or intact ships. The analysis carried out has proven that they were not human objects, particularly those discovered 90 years ago. The programs I'm talking about were dedicated to reverse engineering for military purposes. And unfortunately, that is the main use. And big surprise there, right?
Right. Now, Brandy brought up a good question that she doesn't doubt that we have something, but why now? What is our government really doing and hiding? And what has our government been involved in? Well, that question is...
We actually had that question asked at our Flatwoods presentation several years ago.
We did. And that is, I think, the big question on everybody's mind is, what are we doing with them? Why do we have them? Why now? Ron has, since I've known him, since I have known Ron, sitting at his house at least once a week back in the day, having dinner, has always talked about how that there was a timeline, and that he's always felt that the disclosure and everything coming out has been set to a timeline, and that's the most consistent thing about this field that I've ever heard in our discussions with one another, was that there's a timeline, and the timeline seems to be advanced. And I tend to agree with all the data that we've got. Plus, we're getting these leaks, and again, how much of the leaks are we going to believe?
Right.
How much of the leak is to be believed, and where's the lie sandwich at here? But
how much truth is really in there?
Right. How much truth is really in there? Now, it correlates with Bob Lazar's story.
Yep.
That we've got multiple craft. We've recovered crashed craft. But what are we really doing and hiding? What we're doing, it appears to be reverse engineering. That's what's been stated multiple times by high-level officials who have kind of come out and said their pieces about it, is that we're reverse engineering, and we know that that's happening with the metamaterials. That's why it was handed over by to the stars to the U.S. Army.
Right.
And it's for reverse engineering, and they've been doing crazy stuff with that.
And it all goes into private industry, guys. I mean, this is where this stuff comes from. That's where this stuff comes from. That's where AI is coming from, by the way. You know that, right? I mean, is it just me that knows that? Because a lot of these things are acting like that's exactly what we're dealing with. Yeah. It's a form of AI.
Now, and the last bit there, what has our government been involved in?
Oh, geez. Really?
I shudder to guess all of the craziness.
I mean, you did watch the MK Ultra episode we did a couple of weeks ago, right? I mean,
yeah.
If you didn't watch that, I suggest you go watch that. It's not conspiracy theory. That's the scary part.
Yeah, because it's all released documentation.
Yeah, it's all right there. It's what they got caught up in. So if they would do some of those things, you don't even ask that question.
And then, I shudder you to even guess that if Valiant Thor was correct.
Again, this is the problem that I think that a lot of researchers, the ones who may want to believe this, like myself, I'd like to believe this, but I have to be leery because there's so many things that it opens the door on. It opens the doors on the possibility that these things that were just in the conspiracy theory realm may actually be something more than conspiracy theory, right? Like the whole Valiant Thor thing. You've got that, and you've got what was it, the meeting? Remember the whole meeting at shoot, I can't think. I've been doing this all day. My head it's ready to explode. I had to rewrite our presentation. I rewrote our presentation 3 times already. It's ridiculous.
Since Sunday, we've been like up to our necks in all of this information, wading through it, because like Ron said, the presentation has been shifted around, things have changed, information has changed.
The presentation is literally like an open and shut case at this point. I'm not even kidding. I mean, it's just like,
and now we get this leak, this whistleblower that came out and is saying his stuff, and there's a lot to go through and try to figure out which is disinformation and misinformation, finding out what bits are the truth. It really says they're not really saying anything new that hasn't been speculated for a while now. Yeah,
only by us. That's absolutely correct. But the funny thing is, they put the spotlight on us now, because before we were just crazies yelling in the dark, that these things were out there and they were coming to, do all these things, and they were showing up and they're contacting people. And, again, this opens the door to all that. And I remember what I was going to say now. It actually opens the door to Majestic 12.
It does. And Spooky says, I have some real Stargate vibes. I hope there's no Goa'ulds.
Yeah, well, there's your problem. Remember when I said that there's a timeline? There's a very good possibility that that timeline was triggered. And, I'll go ahead and say it, because the people who were at Flatwoods heard it, and it's funny. It's really sci-fi, really, the whole thing, isn't it? Because it depends on what you believe. If you think that Oumuamua was just a comet, then it sounds like complete science fiction. But if you're one of those who thinks that Oumuamua was more than just a comet, and that it may have been what Avi originally said, some form of probe or something, you have to ask yourself, well, what was it probing for? My theory is that it was probing for technosignatures. In particular, a technosignature that does not belong on this planet.
Pat says, with the nuclear powers of the planet are all gearing up for World War III, so it makes sense that disclosure might be accelerated as well. Yeah, because it's hard to tell, like, if it boils down to that, if there's going to be some kind of a strange intervention. It would not be the first time that there's been some kind of a strange intervention with cataclysmic earth-ending kabooms. If you go and dig into the
it wouldn't be
Hindu and the Mahabharata.
All right, it wouldn't be, but there's also been these instances throughout the past where certain operations were not staged, but sort of staged, to make the public believe one thing while something else completely different was happening in the background. Do you honestly, to me, I don't honestly believe that if this is real, this is not don't believe them, because this is not going to happen this way. If this is real, it affects the entire world, and they know it affects the entire world.
So Fishbelly says, is it a timeline contractual, or are they trying to get ahead of an event they can't control?
Yes.
To both.
Yes. And why I say that is because either A, they could have broken a contract, couldn't they? Some kind of
if there was a
deal.
Contract laid out and we were supposed to have done something by date A and didn't, then now it's out of their hands. They're like, well,
it's been taken out of their hands.
That was it under the rug for a little bit. Now, okay, the clock's ticking.
I mean, admit it, guys. This is all speculation, so don't go and think that we're sitting here telling you that this is how it is. We really don't care what you believe. I could care less what you believe. You can believe whatever. You can believe they're glowing elephants that are invisible. I don't care. But the point is, it's the data. And you have to look at all the data. And we told you there's some weird pieces on that puzzle that's laying on that table. So we're just throwing them together. This isn't us who's saying this stuff now, by the way. This is an ex-CIA sitting here saying, the mechanical and experimental data shows that it's not human. It could be extraterrestrial, or it could have come from something else, from other dimensions.
Fishbelly goes back and says, my guess is on the other's timeline. And that's I think, where we're at now at this point.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, an interesting part that I found about this was one of the ships was recovered in Italy in 1933. This is, according to him, this was the farthest they went back. Okay. I don't believe that either, by the way. The oldest case that he was briefed on anyway. So, right. But it was a bell-shaped ship, 10 meters in size, was recovered in Magenta in the north of Italy, was kept by Mussolini's government until the agents of the Office of the Strategic Service, the OSS, the old American intelligence agency, retrieved it in 1944.
And what this sounds like is a beefed up Kecksburg craft.
Yeah, really beefed up Kecksburg craft. Yeah, I mean, you got this is like some Indiana Jones and, Avengers stuff going on here in the background. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. You had a secret detachment within the government who's out there, going on and collecting this stuff according to what they're saying. And, that was always the theory back in the 90s with was the Blue Beret, the crash retrieval teams.
Yeah.
You heard a lot about that then, and you don't hear too much about that anymore. Not until this year. So let's go back to one of the first ones. You know where this was that we remember anyway, right? 1897, Aurora, Texas.
Yep, the Aurora incident. Hey, Ada, thanks for joining us. That is the Facebook user. I jumped over to Facebook to to grab that.
That's all good. But yeah, so we had the Aurora incident, where this craft was seen to come in and smack into a windmill, and I believe it was on wasn't it Judge Proctor's farm or something? I can't remember.
It was at his house. It was at the homestead because it actually messed up his flower bed in front of his home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the whole thing is, there was a supposed crash there, right? But back then there wasn't any Blue Beret. There wasn't anyone collecting, space debris. I want to bring up a real quick little thing. Seems a little bit out of the realm of what we're talking about, but it's really relevant because it's really funny. You guys know I started playing Oculus there. I got one for Christmas. I started playing it. Well, I found a neat little game. It was called Deism, and you basically play as a god. You get to your two big hands, and you can go walk among the people and all this stuff.
This is not a sponsored spot.
No, but it could be. So it's a great little game. But what's really funny in the game is these UFOs would show up, and they start abducting my people, and I'm like, what in the world, I figured out you could grab the UFOs and crash them into the ground. Now, what's funny about it is when your society, it's kind of like Sim City, but when your society is able to reach a certain level, at that point they go and harvest the alien technology. Not before, but only after they reach a certain level. Now, what's funny about that and why I say that is because in Aurora, no one cared until it was, they were getting ready to basically go in there and investigate this, as I remember the story. And someone swiped the headstone. I guess they put a drill hole through the grave, I think, and they said that they may have taken something out. I think it was going to be investigated by MUFON, if I remember correctly, how the old story went. But yeah, I mean, this stuff's been happening. That's what I'm trying to get at here. This is that's the funny thing. None of this is really new. It's just a new way of looking at stuff that has happened.
So Seth Womack says, if this story is true, do you believe that these covert programs have been ran by the Air Force or by private defense contractors? Both.
I would say Navy. And why I say Navy is because they've had their hands in this.
They have.
From day one. And if you go back and look at that old Lazar tape, that's who hired him. He was hired by the Navy, not the Air Force.
Right. Well, the field that he worked at was a joint forces thing, so you're gonna have a little bit of everybody. Then you've got the Army Airfield that took care of the Roswell incident, so you've got a little bit of everybody. But I think once, just because the way the Freedom of Information Act works, my bet is that these things are fielded by the military, and then whatever's recovered, whatever's retrieved, is then handed off to these private defense contractors. Then it's shielded. You can't FOIA that.
Yeah.
There's an umbrella that protects them because they're private industry.
I mean, it's the best place to hide something that secret. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you've already gleaned all the juice out of the lemon, throw the rind out to the others, because you've got everything you need out of that. They can play with it now, Of course, we had the Maury Island incident in Washington, which some still claim is a hoax. At this point, I don't know what's a hoax anymore. The past 72 hours has made me question literally everything at this point, beyond what I was already questioning.
Jeffrey's saying that we've been conditioned since the game Space Invaders, and I would say that we've been conditioned since before then.
Oh yeah.
We actually, it was 2 years ago, we had a assimilation.
The episode on assimilation. It was great. It's a great episode.
It's an oldie but a goodie, and we need to share that one again, because
I'll do that.
It's super relevant now as it was then, because we cover all of the historic accounts of assimilation. The getting used to having your friendly neighborhood space being.
Hey Robin, welcome. I see requests for Sky Daddy, but hang on, we'll get to Sky Daddy. I don't want to turn off the share thing. I got it working right now.
So it says, don't contractors run the military? No, not necessarily. They me being prior service, they
work for the military.
They work for the military. Yeah.
It depends on the contract too. How much it's worth, and what the basically what the guidelines in the contract actually are.
Yep.
Okay, and like Dewey said, yes, he did. He covered a lot of those in Eye in the Sky. I got your book here, but the light's out, and if I hold it up, it'll probably disappear. But I'll plug it at the end of the show for you. Yeah. Everybody, go buy Dewey's book. It's a good book, for real. I'm not kidding. Really good book.
The Deuster is an amazing author, as Teresa was talking about.
He writes good. He writes really well.
He's a great writer.
Okay, so of course
an offering to appease Sky Daddy McConaughey.
So the granddaddy, of course. And what's really interesting about this to me is, if you recall, last year they said they were going to, when they formed Arrow, they were supposed to look back all the way to Roswell and beyond. And then all of a sudden they said, well, we're only going to look at the relevant. We're only going to look at what's relevant. I mean, I think Roswell's pretty relevant. It seems to be relevant to me. How about you? I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely. Because it clearly said that the flying saucer crashed on a ranch in the Roswell region, and that the craft was recovered, that materials were recovered, and then all of a sudden the next day, poof, the story's gone.
Yeah, well, the next day it was literally, was it Ramey emptied the Roswell saucer, I believe was the headline, something like that. But the point is, for a second there, for a few hours, it was enough to go around the world pretty much, and then they had to backtrack and backpedal the whole thing. We're of course not going to go over the Roswell incident. We actually did a good episode on the Roswell incident last year, we will have a Roswell special, of course, coming up for Roswell Day.
We always the last few years
celebrate
there's at least
Roswell
I think
Day.
3 Roswell days that have gone on in the past. You guys can go check those out, where we cover the event in depth with pressing new information. So this year's Roswell Day is going to be real fun.
Oh yeah, it is. I may actually be able to get us an alien to come on. They don't like that word,
right?
Yeah.
So Jeffrey says, I think War of the Worlds, that's always been a tongue twister for me. was a test run to see how American people would react, especially since it was ran without any disclaimers, which was against radio standards of that time.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting, and that's kind of true. I didn't know that. Adam was in. You were there on the 50th. I was there on the 50th. That's hilarious.
That's cool. An old sci-fi short story outlined how to use the media of the day to introduce aliens over a century. Books, movies, etc. The book nailed it. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, you got to assimilate people to this kind of stuff. It's just, you are talking about earth-shattering things, or you really are.
An earth-shattering kaboom.
Earth-shattering. All right, why is this thing?
So which one? What's our next crash on deck?
I'm trying to
we
get
got
it.
Aurora covered. We got Roswell. What we're doing right now is we're covering some of the historic crashes in history, and
Well, I think you'll know the next one.
Oh yeah, because we're doing it by time. That's the Kecksburg craft. So in Kecksburg, PA, this Acorn, the space Acorn, allegedly crashed and was recovered and pulled off on the back of an old Army utility vehicle. And odds are, was taken to Wright-Patterson.
Pretty good odds that it probably was, considering that was that was where you took all the foreign technology stuff. Yeah. It was the foreign technology division, and it seemed like a lot of
real
stuff
Area
up there.
51.
Right. It's the pre-Area 51. It's where they take stuff to evaluate it to go there. Yeah. I think maybe, I don't know, but yeah, that was an interesting one. Of course, we did several episodes on this, and I think we had Stan on for 3 or 4. I don't know. We had a lot. He's on here a few times, but yeah, this was a big one. Another case where something came down, and again, what's crazy though, guys, you'll forgive me. You notice we jumped to 1965. Like I said, I was very busy today. I did not put Flatwoods in here.
Oh, so I had Flatwoods next up on my list there.
Yeah, Flatwoods is definitely there. I just did not get to include it because I was trying to get this stuff as fast as I could.
Yeah, so Robin Sims actually threw that one out there too.
Yeah, 1952. Yeah.
Yep, 1952. So that one took place before then, and there was a close encounter of the third kind there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And rest in peace, Freddie May. That was just this past week. He was there. He was one of the witnesses, the last remaining witness of the Flatwoods event.
Mm-hmm. We will definitely be dedicating the Flatwoods Monster Convention to him and the rest of those.
To him and his family.
All of those guys who came forward and actually were brave enough to come out and tell that story, because it's a big deal back then. Now it's nothing. Apparently they're just landing in backyards and everybody goes and gets on TikTok and YouTube. But back then you didn't do that. Back then you kept it very close, or you didn't say anything, because it was either the devil's gonna get you, or the devil is the devil, or it's some kind of secret thing, and we don't want to talk about that because loose lips sink ships mentality was still going on.
Yeah.
Let me go past this because you can't hear it, so I want to just skip on by it real quick. Okay, so Virginia is next. That would be 1996, and you guys know this one. This just came out.
Teresa says, my sister's grandfather was stationed at Wright-Pat after World War II through the 70s. He was really secretive about his work there, but traveled a lot and learned Russian and several other languages.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprising at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dave Roberts, our friend, composer, and a fellow researcher there, he knows someone who worked there, someone in his family, and they actually had said something off cuff about it before and said they just couldn't talk about it and wouldn't.
Well, she apparently asked him before he died if he ever saw aliens or UFOs, and he told her that there wasn't anything from off-planet, which...
That's a good way to say that.
That's a good way to say it. If they could have been here.
That's a good way to say that. See, that's the thing. I don't think we're dealing with aliens, right? I mean, the things that are here, I don't think these are aliens. Could we be? I mean, could that be what's going to come? And, that's possible. But I don't think it's aliens per se, Virginia, the one in Brazil that James Fox did there in the recent movie that he put out. Good movie, by the way.
Absolutely.
The Incredible Case, just on its own, because you are dealing with, and it's important. This is an important one because what happened in Virginia is almost exactly to the book what happened last month, apparently in Las Vegas. The only difference is, that alien apparently didn't, or whatever it was, didn't kill the people. This one didn't apparently mean to, but one of the folks who apprehended this thing was trying to actually help it. Got some material on him from the creature, and he died allegedly of this
infection.
Infection.
Yeah, some kind of a weird virus.
Makes me wonder. Did he though? Makes me wonder at this point. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But because we do know that they came in, they threatened people. That's all documented at this point, and pretty much just wiped this thing under the rug. And it was looked at as nothing more than just a crazy story. I remember seeing it back on sightings. I think it was is where I had first seen it, and then it just disappeared. It was not real. It wasn't true. Obviously, James went out there, did a little legwork, found out, well, this is actually true. This was,
and we also we lost the last person that was involved with that as well recently. The last major, one of the guys that was investigating.
Oh, that's right. I saw that.
Yeah, he passed away.
Okay. So, what are we engaged? Why are we? I guess is the question. We're engaging them, but why? And what's going on? How come these things are crashing so much? What's going? Because we've heard that so many times. These people are like, oh, they flew 18 billion light years and they crash. What kind of advanced technology is that? Well, first of all, we don't know that they did, and second of all, there are other ways to make things crash. And I think that we're going to prove that that's exactly what's been going on, by the way. That's not Kecksburg, obviously. That's Tehran. This is the 1976 Tehran incident where Lieutenant Yadi Nazari, of the Imperial Iranian Air Force. You go ahead and read this one, Joe. My throat's kind of hurting a little bit.
Okay. Lieutenant Yadi Nazari of the Imperial Iranian Air Force, plus a backseat weapons officer, were dispatched to an F-4 Phantom II jet interceptor to investigate. Once Naziri reached Tehran, he reported losing all instrument communications, so they returned to base, reporting that his instruments came back once he did so. Major Parviz Jafari, an IAF squadron commander, along with First Lieutenant Jalil Damarian as weapons officer, were dispatched in a second F-4 Phantom II. Jafari acquired radar lock on an object at a range of 27 nautical miles.
Whoops, paid him on that.
Jafari later said that he was startled by a round object which came out of the primary object and started coming straight towards them at a high rate of speed, almost as if it were a missile. But as he attempted to fire, suddenly nothing was working. The weapons control panel was out, and I lost all instrument control, said Jafari. When he could report to air traffic control, Jafari was instructed to return. As he did so, Jafari looked to his left and saw the primary diamond-shaped thing up there, and another bright object came out of it yet again and headed directly towards the ground. Expecting an explosion that did not happen, he claimed, it seemed to slow down and land gently on the ground, radiating a high, bright light. The next day, Jafari and Damarian flew by helicopter to an area where they thought the light hit the ground. They found nothing. Occupants of nearby houses only reported hearing a loud noise and a bright flash of light during the night.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this isn't the only time these things get scrambled.
Nope. Happened again in Peru.
April 11th in 1980, Peruvian Air Force Lieutenant Huerta and a pilot with 8 years' experience who had been flying combat missions since 19 was ordered to take off his Russian-made Sukhoi
Try it again. Yeah, there you go.
22 fighter to intercept the strange silvery object that had been spotted floating near the end of the runway. After takeoff, Colonel Huerta flew. Okay, I thought they said miles. I was like, holy crap. He flew 2,500 meters and came in for an attack run. I reached the necessary distance and shot a burst of 64 30-millimeter shells, which created a cone-shaped wall of fire that would normally obliterate anything in its path. Just one of those shells would wipe out a car, but they had no effect on the object. Turning up and to the right, Colonel Huerta attempted to position himself for another shot. I began closing in on it until I had it in perfect sight, he writes. I locked on the target and was ready to shoot, but just at that moment, the object made another fast evading the attack. I was left underneath it. It broke the attack. He attempted the same maneuver 2 more times. Each time the object escaped by shooting upwards seconds before he would fire. By this time, the object was 14,000 meters above ground. Colonel Huerta decided to attempt an attack from above so it could not leave his target range. But the object shadowed him all the way up to 19,200 meters, well above his aircraft's specifications. Running low on fuel, he realized he could not continue the attack, so decided to fly close to the object to get a better look. It wasn't until he was 100 meters away that he realized what it was. I was startled to see that the balloon was not a balloon at all. It was an object that measured about 10 meters in diameter with a shiny dome on top that was cream-colored, similar to a light bulb cut in half. The bottom was a wider circular base with a silver collar, and it looked like some kind of metal. It lacked all typical components of aircraft. It had no wings, no propulsion, no exhaust, no windows, no antenna, so forth. It had no visible propulsion system. That's the second time he said this, by the way. That this, as from a pilot's perspective, he is used to seeing an aircraft, something flying, having some form of propulsion. Being an aircraft mechanic, nothing that we have that I'm aware of, flies without a visible form of propulsion. At that moment, I realized I was not spying. It was not a spying device, but a UFO, something totally unknown.
Yeah, and this is almost exactly the same description that we got at the beginning of the year when we decided to do the same thing, when history repeated itself, apparently. Right?
Yep.
So that was February 23rd, and everybody knows what happened there. The U.S. military shot down 3 unidentified flying objects over a 3-day stretch this month, and the Chinese spy balloon that had invaded American space, we all saw that because they made everybody aware of that one, didn't they? And then all of a sudden, there's these things that showed up. Well, their excuse was they turned the notch up. I love this excuse, by the way. They turned the notch up to see what might be out there. Mm-hmm. And then they saw these things.
Yeah.
My question is, why did they turn the notch down? Because years and years ago, there's reports that the notch was always there. That's where the term fast walker comes from, because they were actually tracking these things coming in from outer space, dude. They were coming in from outer space. This is back when they were doing the NASA thing. That's why the NASA thing, the whole NASA hearing was just a joke, because they had every opportunity to set the record straight, and they did not. And then they went as far as to say, well, they didn't like being called, liars and propagators of cover-ups. Well, great. Then why not just admit? It's been proven. Well, it's been proven. Every time that something shows up on the NASA live cam, they'll cut the feed, they'll change they'll make it move a certain way, just out of view. Someone will say something dumb about it. I've seen this. We all have. But the point being, these things started showing up again because they adjusted that filter, and lo and behold, they're all still there, and apparently there's a lot more of them now.
Well, I guess Pav is channeling Sky Daddy McConaughey and imagining a fleet of interstellar orangutans being held secretly at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base because, Sky Daddy was in Interstellar.
That's bizarre, but sure. That's That'll work. So anyway, an object that first appeared over Montana was shot down. You guys remember that? Over Lake Huron. We had the same description here, this thing, but this one was weird. It had octagonal structure and apparently what looked like strings hanging off of it, but it didn't sound like that, did it, from what they described?
Right.
And then this little beauty came out. Well, we're going to not look for them anymore. And by the way, there's videos of the fighter taking these things down, but you're not going to see them.
Nope.
You can't see that.
You're not going to see that fighter footage. Not going to happen.
It's classified.
And then they're miraculously, they're at the bottom of the deepest lake on the planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Convenient.
So just, I guess like a week or so ago or something, apparently there was this massive secret meeting of some sort at the Pentagon.
That's what we hear.
That Dave sent me the thing to this morning. And I just thought that was interesting. Would you stop doing that? I just thought it was interesting because the gathering at the Pentagon, that was last month. It came amid a burst of activity in Washington on an eye-popping news report related to so-called unidentified anomalous phenomena. So they were having a secret meeting about UAP. And it featured a U.S.-led briefing to visitors from the nations of, quote, Five Eyes Intelligence Sharing Alliances. I want you to remember what that's underlined for a reason, which includes Canada, United Kingdoms, Australia, New Zealand. Okay, wonderful. But here's the thing. Our boy there, Grush, in a French journalist piece, he literally said the same words just a few days ago. The main allies are members of the Five Eyes Alliance. So Canada, United Kingdoms, Australia, and New Zealand. You see that? Those are the same words, guys. Those are the same words. Guess who was probably at that meeting a month ago? Guess who probably got his okay to go ahead and do this a month ago? That's why I'm saying there's a very good case here that this was definitely scripted. This was definitely, it was supposed to come out.
Yeah,
now, whether it's real or not.
Was scheduled.
Yeah, it was not a whistleblow. It was a scheduled stop for the train. That's what it was. So,
which is mildly concerning.
Yeah, it should be.
Like,
it should be, because that means that the clock, tick, 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 tick. There's an agenda. There's something, right? I mean, that's what it leads to. Because what's really hilarious, oh man, is this. And I don't think everybody knows. And I think that this is proof that not everybody knows. And I will give Arrow an escape route on this one if this turns out to be true. Because they wouldn't know. They wouldn't have been read into any of this.
Yeah.
So according to Arrow, there's no credible evidence to date of extraterrestrial activity, non-earthly technology, or objects that defy the known laws of physics. In recent testimony, blah, blah. Additionally, the latest annual UAP report did not cite any evidence of extraterrestrial technology. It said that 366 recorded sightings, it's up to 600 something now, by the way. Yeah. 163 wound up being balloons or balloon-like entities, whatever that is. I mean, that thing that jammed that guy's radar back in, the 70s or whatever was the same way, right? 26. Yeah. So Peru, right? Yeah. So 26 were categorized as unmanned aerial vehicles and 6 were aerospace clutter. However, 171 sightings remained unexplained. And that's 171 oh my gods is what that is, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just want to bring this up real quick because we will be obviously here with some of our wares, and we're going to have some really cool stuff. Got some new stuff coming out that you're going to get to see for the first time there. And boy, the presentation, like I said, man, it's a big one. It's a big one.
Guys,
it's probably better than Arrow.
So anybody who is coming out to Wytheville, I encourage you to get there early.
Yeah,
we're opening the show. We're the first guest speakers. Yeah. We're on at 10:30. All right. You don't want to miss this presentation because there is so much in it. It's going to be an absolute blast. It visually, you're gonna love it. Informationally, you're gonna love it. It's Yeah, I mean, you guys are used to how the radio show works, so you know how that goes. You know how the dynamic duo here operates already. So you know it's not going to be boring. You know it's not going to be droning.
It took an incredible amount of my time, is what he's saying.
We're going to keep you on the edge of your seats.
Yeah, considering it had to be rewritten 3 times. But so, that's the current estimate of the situation. Now let's talk about what happened with this weird sighting in Las Vegas. I'm not showing the video of it right here right now because everybody's kind of doing that, and you go watch it. I mean, if you want to watch one by the guy who actually put it out there, because he went on record and he was trying to actually get ahead of some of the stuff. So he's one of the original witnesses. My problem with it, I have several.
Hold on, pause real quick. We got a good one. This is my biggest concern as well. This new whistleblower definitely seems awfully comfortable to be talking about deeply classified topics. Something seems like a dog on a leash to me. That references back to being told.
He was told he could do it.
This was
well. He was told he could do it, and he was told what he could and could not do.
Yeah, because he's almost following, like, if this was a true whistleblower, this would have been a Snowden-like event.
Yeah,
this would have been like, here's all of it. No, he's like, yeah, I can't tell you that because that's a matter of national security.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't tell you that because that's a matter of, like, U.S. defense systems.
Right.
I can't. No. So, like, he's still playing by the book. He's still playing by textbook's response. He's not breaking his oath.
He's doing the Elizondo.
Yeah.
I mean, like it or not, he's doing what Elizondo did. It's the exact same
says
thing.
you never really retire from the CIA.
You don't. No, you don't. You really don't. Yeah, so for those who don't know, apparently something crashed in was it Vegas, right? Yeah. And I mean, the actual thing that crashed looks impressive, and if you watch the video that the witness put out, he has more interesting stuff on there than you're going to get just watching the actual news one, because there's a part on there where you can actually see the flash, then you hear the explosion when this thing lands, but you hear the sound of it going over. I've never heard anything that sounds like that.
The course correction is what gets me in the video.
I've never heard anything that sounds like that, though.
Yeah, you're right. I've heard something similar,
but not like
over
that.
Point Pleasant.
Oh no! This thing was.
Remember, it's coming over a camera.
No, there was a weird, strange sci-fi whistle to this thing, which was crazy. And what's really strange, I thought, but it's probably because it's so close, because you can see the flash, and then you hear it. So if you watch it, it's less than a mile away, because you can see the flash and then you hear that boom just like less than a second, So it's less than a mile away, and there's no reverb on the explosion. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but there's almost no reverb on the explosion whatsoever.
Right.
It literally doesn't sound like an explosion. It sounds like a crash, but it sounds like a crash like you would expect, like a car crash. It's like the fall off on it is not, it's not like a big boom. But, they saw something. They saw something, I guess, in their backyard. Apparently, he says, his words, it's an alien. It's 8 to 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
It's got big eyes. It's got a big mouth. Now that's the weird
shiny
part.
Eyes.
Big shiny eyes. Yeah. And, I think it's Paranormality, or it may be Paranormality. It's one of the Twitter pages. They actually zoomed in on it and brought that out, or tried to. It's kind of pixelated. You can see something back there. I did the same thing. I can see something back there, but I can't. I mean, it's just a blob moving. It could be anything, honestly. I don't know what's back there. But what's really strange to me is when he decided to release his statement, he's reading a script. He's literally reading a script, because as he's talking, I see him moving his finger, doing this no number. I'm like, what's he doing? He's reading a script. It's one of those, where he's flipping up on the phone. It's an app. You can actually get an app that lets you do that. That's it's a teleprompter app. I wish we had one. We'd probably be more professional, but we don't.
Well, I mean, I've been using it over here for the crash site stuff, so I've actually got.
No, it's actually not a sonic boom, Pat. It's more like a car crash. I mean, it's weird, dude.
Can you upload the video and do it? I mean, I know everybody else is doing it. Why not us?
I don't know. I can try. You guys talk amongst yourself.
Yeah, we'll talk amongst ourselves while we do it. Because like have you seen the 911 call too? Like they released the 911.
I saw the 911 call. Yeah.
The 911 call is really interesting, and then there's police body cam footage.
Yeah, that's the interesting stuff. We actually see the craft, right?
Yep.
So something was there.
The police are saying, "I'm so nervous."
Yeah, I thought that was wild.
Yeah.
And then they didn't show the backyard, but then it comes out later that there is a big circle in the backyard. It's like a 20-some foot circle, and that was. If you're going to be at Wytheville, you'll understand that one hit home for a bit. Yeah. But what's weird about it is, like you said, man, they were actually scared. Those officers were really scared. All right, I'm going to try this out. We're going to see if we can get it to work.
And like the way it's all happening in a week's time frame.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
So are they just kind of playing off? But here's the thing: we can't say it's him because he didn't do it, and it's KWLAS. It's old Naps station out there, and if anybody's going to do it, it's probably going to be them, right? Because they're okay; they're used to that kind of stuff. But my thing is, they said that they've been watching this for a week, which means that they were watching this before the current stuff even broke. That is a little different.
Well, they got George Knapp in their back pocket.
Well, they absolutely do.
And George Knapp knows stuff.
Yeah, that's true too. All right, well, I'm going to do a screen share just straight on
Premiere.
Just
do the video. We don't.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a screen share straight on Premiere, and it should work. So let's see. Let's back over here. Present. And share screen. Where's it at? Here it is. Okay, can everybody see that? You can see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to scrub manually. Well, actually, I'll play it, and then I'll scrub manually. There it was. You can see it shooting across the sky. See that weird blue light?
It's not a bolide.
No.
Because bolides
look at that movement. Look at that movement.
Bolides don't turn. They have a course that they follow, and
it's zigzagging, dude.
Yeah.
Look at that. And off over the horizon it goes. It's just like, and it's fast. I mean, it's moving.
It's scooting.
And it's bright. And it shows up again on, that's him talking. So here's the camera footage from. Oh, wait. Night turned into day there for a second. Let me zoom out so you can see what's going on. Wow, that's
there's near field radiation.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I don't know, but that to me is nuts.
Adam Good says this event took place April 3rd, May 1st. This story's been around for a month, and
it just made it. That's
just
the
now
point.
making news because of, I believe, the leak that occurred. It's
but here's the thing:
the fact that this gained traction and just didn't get pushed under the rug.
But here's the thing: I agree with that. But they've been sitting on this for over a week. He just came out. That means that the media knew that he was going to come out. That's what I'm getting at. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they knew. If that's the case, why were they even looking at this case? Because, it's just another UFO story, right? I mean.
You're probably right, Fitchbelly. Like, I mean, Knapp, if nothing else, Knapp is the one that has read them in.
Knapp. Yeah, exactly. I think you're right on that, too. Here, I'm going to do this real quick. Because, let's see if we can get this out here. Push this up. I'm going to save that. Hey, you guys get to see me do stuff in real time.
Pat says looks like a bottle rocket to me. I mean, it does, but bottle rockets don't do that. Like that whole like wah wah.
It's something, man. It's definitely.
I mean,
something.
they can at takeoff, but once that rocket's engaged, man, it is.
So let's see if that worked. I believe it did. I think this is it right here, actually. Yeah, here we go. Upload, process, and here you go. Like, yeah, man,
Yeah, you hear that?
that's a wild sound.
I mean, it sounds like a low flying jet at first.
Yeah, real low.
Because you got that whir, that high pitched kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you expect Mick Foley's music to kick off because it sounds like a car crash.
Doesn't it? I mean, that's exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like a car crash. But yeah, so here is.
Teresa says it's almost cartoony. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's weird because he's reading a script. I mean, maybe he just wanted to get it right. I don't.
Well, I mean, man.
To be fair,
like you guys have heard my Bigfoot story before. The reason when I tell the story that it doesn't change is because I wrote it down. I don't deviate from it. Nothing gets added.
Do you carry it with you? Do you have it on your phone and scroll through it in real time? No, you don't.
When I told people about it in the past, I read it. Like the first people I told, I read it.
Maybe. I mean, maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe that it's just so he can get it right.
Yeah, just so you can get it right. You don't want to embellish.
It's possible. He says that.
Me giving the benefit of a doubt.
Well, he says that. He says he doesn't want to. Now, here's the other thing I've got with it. Allegedly, there's more on this, and there's a lot more to this, and it's going to be coming out. But it's coming out on a podcast. A podcast actually showed up. Hey, Patrick. A podcast actually showed up and did an investigation of this. That's where it all came from. And they're going to release more to it, more about it. Now, there's nothing weird about that, I guess. I mean, we do that.
Yeah, we do that.
We do that. That's how it is. If there's no one else interested,
see somebody else's.
Go do it.
Getting it done.
Go do it. But
their boots dirty.
True. And I think that it's just, I don't know. I'm going to wait and see how the data shakes out on this thing. I want to wait until they release more
and
before I make a decision. I don't know.
I'm with Pat here that it's a bad mic recording.
Could be
because it's coming off a Ring camera. Those things aren't notorious for having Bose or Sennheiser quality.
Yeah.
So you are listening to a very digitized, very modulated sound. So it's not going to be true to what was actually heard.
Yeah.
My husband just texted me from the other room a link to this story and said, "Oh my God, have you seen this?" Yeah, just now.
Synchronicity. It follows. That's the crazy thing, right? But yeah, man, I don't know what's going on. I'll be honest with you. It's I've been getting a lot of people sending me messages, asking questions. What do we think? What do I think's going on? What is this? Is it real? You know what I know, and I mean, I don't know.
It's weird watching on Facebook. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you got some lag on your side. I think when I go back and look at Facebook, it's like 3 minutes behind, 4 minutes behind.
Oh, has it got a lag?
Yeah,
that's cool. That means they can censor us. That's all. It's like NASA. NASA is the feed. Yeah. The feed's actually going to NASA, and they're that was tricky. That wasn't NASA. That was me. I'm fooling.
Oh man.
So what are you guys thinking? I want to hear, from the rest of you guys before we head out. I'm curious. I want to know if this is real. And I don't mean the Vegas thing. I'm talking about the whole,
The whistleblowing.
yeah, the whole, this is disclosure thing. Does it change your view on things? Does it make you more nervous? Does it make you less afraid or more afraid, I guess would be the question. And what does it do to your belief systems, if anything at all? That's what I'm wanting to hear. Because, the Brookings Institute back in the 60s said, we'd have a meltdown. We wouldn't do well with that.
Societal crumbling.
Yeah.
I think was the exact words.
Yeah, we can't have that. So, I'd like to know what you guys think. How's this affecting
Jeffrey
you?
Steele says this is just the beginning.
It absolutely is the beginning.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, the next, if anyone's been paying attention how this works, you've got to, it's going in stages, which is what we said. The next stage is to present material
on camera.
Interviewing, yeah, right. Interviewing the alien. So the next step,
he says clearly, it was you all along.
Yeah. I think the next thing, you've got two options. Again, we're going to confirm a signal and admit it's real, or it's going to be crash material. It's one of those two. But it's more than likely it's going to be material. I think they're setting it up for material.
Jen says she thinks a lot of people will lose their minds. It's very probable. Adam says, I'll just keep baking bread.
That's code, I'm sure.
NASA doesn't care if you know. The White House doesn't want you to know. Then I need to see the aliens interviewed on camera. Yeah, I mean, it's probably bleep, blop, bloop, blop, blip.
I mean, but here's the thing. Why do we assume here? Okay, let's do this. Stop making predictions. That keeps happening. I know, man. I know. That's why I quit making certain art. It's okay. I'm good. I'm on it.
Be a good little monkey in making machines and don't look up.
Yeah. So here's the thing. What I'm seeing now, just in the past 24 hours with this whole release, they're jumping to this. Oh, it's hostile. It's hostile. I don't know if they're doing that or if that's just the media grabbing that section and saying, "Oh, this is fear sells. Look at 2020 and look at, the spy balloons. Look at, this sells. This makes people click stuff." I don't know if it's that or if it is, they're trying to propagate the fear, so to speak, for, possibly new funding for more advanced weapon systems that they probably already stole from whatever they are. But
right.
Yeah, exactly. But my thing is, if you talk to experiencers, you're going to find that most of them don't have terribly negative experiences. And most are, even the ones that are affected.
Seth says, I think it's intergalactic travelers trying to find a gas station for some snacks. They picked the wrong planet. This is the worst one to stop at for snacks.
Yeah, it's true. But the aggressors here, what I'm getting at is not, they're not firing on us. We're firing on them.
They're trying to unite us against a common enemy to distract us from something else.
That's a theory. But it's a pretty big common enemy. We could do that with things here on Earth. So if that's the case, then this is big.
Yeah.
Like monstrously big. Like extinction level big.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it right there. And my whole thing...
Reference a few old episodes.
Go
back and listen.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. It's all there. I've said it. But let's just look at it, like I said, for a minute. They aren't firing on us. This isn't Independence Day. They didn't show up here and start taking down buildings. We started shooting them. And we just showed you that we started shooting them a long time ago. Yeah. And there's a little bit of, not really evidence, but there's a story, circumstantial evidence, I guess, that the whole Roswell thing, that was a shoot down, that was a takedown.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Earth is the 7-Eleven on East Washington Street, Charleston.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, it's whatever. The whole point is, it's I don't know, guys. I really don't. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the whole thing, to be honest with you.
Mountain Adventures says they have fired on us. I
I'd
mean,
when, where?
yeah.
If you got a links, I want to see it.
There have been some, near field radiation
True.
exposure.
I'm talking about actively
But,
firing.
Yeah, actual Travis Walton.
No.
Crap, we broke him.
Yeah, no. Travis even says that he misrepresented. He thought that's what was happening. He said no, he got too close. And now, what's funny about that? He literally could have got too close, because we know they're exhibiting near field radiation at this point. But yeah, for real, if you have any evidence of that, I want to see it, please. Absolutely. I'm not like Sean Kirkpatrick.
I am always the connoisseur of bad humor.
He is. It's true.
And by the way, is this like my Seth Womack? Is this the Seth Womack that I've known since he was a child, or is this a different Seth Womack that's in the channel? So
could be a doppelganger.
It could be.
So have any of you guys, did any of you guys get to catch the new series Beyond Skinwalker Ranch by any chance? I just want to know, because I got to see it.
Mountain Adventures, we're going to be on for a little bit longer. So go if you can.
Yeah, please, thank you.
Like,
yes.
The show is winding down, but that doesn't mean we're cranking it off. We're
going
to hang out here. We're going to keep, as long as we got questions coming in, we're going to keep rolling.
Yeah, we got a good audience. We're rolling. So here's the thing. They did some. Okay, so the new series is interesting.
Man, that's what I thought. I thought that was you.
The new series is interesting because they hired a couple of new guys, and they're not just on Skinwalker Ranch. They're going around to other places of high strangeness, the new buzzword. It's thrown around multiple times, and what's really great about it is the number one thing that they're focusing on is this transient radiation phenomena. And they actually prove it in several of these things with some new pieces of equipment. It's the same transient radiation phenomena that we've been recording since, what was it, 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2020. And it's just getting stranger. So it's not just us now, they're out there doing the same thing and kind of validating some of this stuff themselves. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, we're keeping our monetization. We're trying.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh wait, you're talking about the Foo Fighters. There were some accounts with the Foo Fighters, but like, were they actually shooting down, or was their flying so erratic that it caused those old bi-wings to just crumple? But it might not be.
Only incident I can remember, and it's just on the top of my head, there was an incident in Vietnam. It involved a PT boat, and they, in a helicopter, I think. Or no, they called them helicopters, the UFOs helicopters, and it wasn't a helicopter. It was a UFO. It was a saucer, I believe, or something. They fired on it. From what I remember, they fired a missile at this thing, and it absorbed the missile, and then it redirected it back or something, I think is how it went. It's a strange story, and I don't even know where to begin to look for it. I have forgotten more than I will ever know at this point about this stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the only one I can remember. If you find one, if anybody finds any incidents where we were literally fired upon by them, and by fired upon, I mean they initiated it, not us.
Initial attack,
there was an initial attack. Yes.
No.
If you can find something like that, please let me know. And if you can let me know by tomorrow, that'd be great, because I'll add that into the presentation.
We'll add it into the presentation.
I probably won't at this point, I'll be honest, but I would probably
we can throw it in verbally. We can talk.
Yeah, it would be verbal. I'm not touching that thing again.
Yeah, don't.
Aliens can land on the White House lawn tonight, and I'm not changing it.
Don't change it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not. I don't have time. absolutely don't have time. But yeah, it's just a fascinating thing, isn't it? I mean, that's the whole point.
It is a weird time to be alive, man.
It is a weird time to be alive.
We're seeing all of these reports come out. We got a few years ago, we got the massive CIA dump with millions of pages to go through. We got the McGonagall information,
Right.
all of it,
Right.
confirmed what he had said.
Yeah.
That proved that what he did it with the government, for the government, etc.
Gateway Project. Yep. Stargate. Yep. Not the movie. Yep.
Pat says there's a documentary called ID4 that shows aliens firing on our planes.
Would you quit?
I mean, that might wind up being the documentary.
I mean, who knows at this point? I don't rule anything out right now. I don't.
Yeah, it's so wild because we're dealing with that. We're getting these whistleblowers coming out that are saying, what equates to science fiction. Like stuff that we're completely oblivious to, unless you're part of this community, unless have your finger on the pulse with all this information and different trails and breadcrumbs that get dropped to go and pick up this data, then it seems like science fiction is something that's coming straight off of a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are in real time experiencing these just wild phenomena that are like watching dominoes fall.
It really is. I mean, it really, really, really is.
Supposedly, Russia claimed to have a couple of deaths and crashes due to contacts in air with UFOs. I believe it came from a high-ranking official in the Russian military during the Cold War.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of that,
too. If you could find those and send them to me, like if you could find any kind of article or something like that, because that does sound vaguely familiar that it was a collision. I think I've heard something to that nature before. Yeah, if you could send that, that'd be awesome. That way we can get it over and take a look at stuff. And,
yeah.
Then, how directions are your field meters? Can you detect or how sensitive are your field meters? Can you detect radiation sources at a distance? NRC interceptors could do 20 years ago.
No, this is it's digital. It's what is the name of it? I can't even think of the name of the thing now.
Your dosimeter?
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it though. But it detects gamma and beta, and I believe X-ray will trigger it as well. I can't remember if it does that or not. I'll have to look at the specs for you for that. But it's sensitive. I mean, is it going to detect something farther out? No, it's not. This is something that's if it's a large enough dose, yeah, sure. Because we picked up those prints. I was how far was I from that? I was kind of far from those prints when we got that reading.
Yeah, we were a few feet.
Yeah,
when you initially got it, it was about I'd say 2 to 3 yards. It started picking up.
Yeah.
But the dosimeter that we're using in the field is the GQ GMC 500 plus.
Thank you. That's it. Yes, the 500 plus.
So that's the unit that is used out in the field.
Now, Fishbelly, I'll tell you this: if you watched the series I'm talking about, the episode 1 was just on. It's going to be good, but they had something on there that was absolutely amazing. It was literally a device. It was a camera, and think of it as a thermal that lets you see radiation levels, and that's what it did. And it would not only let you see them, it would let you see the amount, and it would let you see what was causing them, like what radioactive element was causing them. And one of the things that they detected, and I thought this was interesting, and it could explain some of the weird things that we got. They were in an area, and there was a high amount of radiation on the ground that shows up, and then there's this wisp in the air, like it's going up into the sky. And they theorized that was possibly radon gas. So there's a possibility that there could be radon gas at some of these, and that could be what is happening. The only problem I had with it is the same problem that they had. It didn't happen again. And you would think that you would get that breakdown, it would continue to happen. So I don't know. They shut the planes down. A few have disappeared. They don't have to fire. Yeah, that's right.
That is right. That's not a, that is an accurate assessment, because we had the incident where the whole squadron disappeared.
Well, you had that, and we just talked about the one in Tehran. That's why he returned to base, because his plane was literally shutting down. He was like, and the farther he got away from it, the thing came back online, and he was good to go.
Jeffrey Still says, have you read the Bob Teets book on UFO Encounter in the Mountains?
Long ago. Long ago. Yes. I have Bob's original newsletter. I was a member, and I got all those downstairs, actually, in little manila envelopes. They'd send them to you in these big white envelopes, but I would take them out and put them into little manila envelopes and have my own little X files. It was great. There's some good stories in there too.
Pat says it could have been Patriot missiles that the Russians just didn't know what hit them. I mean, it's possible.
Could have been a lot of things. It was the Cold War, right? I mean,
Cold War time.
People don't realize that we were literally engaging at times on these things. We just couldn't tell them it was us.
Yeah, we couldn't, because
that would be World War III.
Sparked another World War.
That's how it works. That's how Cold Wars work. Yeah. You're good until someone figures out who you are.
Right.
Me too. Yes. Okay. Anybody else over there? Yeah. So anyway, what we got was Dewey over there?
Yeah. Says, I believe what happened to Captain Mantell in 1948. Yeah.
Maybe
it's possible.
Yep, it is very possible. It's either that, or he was just in this. It could have took over the plane too, Dewey. I mean, it could have locked the controls up completely. He could have been climbing and no way to change the elevator at that point, or who knows.
At the time, when the Mantell incident happened in 48, that's new technology he was cruising in.
What?
And
he had it was a P-51. Yeah,
it was a P-51.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
So he's screaming, and he could have pushed. I used to maintain a P-51 for the museum.
Yeah.
And he could have pushed that old bird beyond its working point.
Just trying to get to it.
And just shut her down. That's probably most. Well, that's the Occam's razor answer for that.
Well, he probably had no idea how. I mean, here's the thing: you can literally, from what we're understanding, you can be right here, and then the next second, this thing is out there,
And if you try to course correct to try to catch it, G forces and the plane.
It's hard to say.
It's not going to work.
It's hard to say, man.
So,
but we don't know. I mean, that's the whole point, and I think that they have really tried for years to keep that quiet as well. And we know that obviously they studied the impact on the near field radiation of the UAP exposure. We saw that. We covered that in our contact series that we did there, 3 parts of. There's a reason it was 3 parts long. It was very detailed. But that's that showed that there's definitely changes in some of the brain structure and so forth. I mean, it's crazy what these things can do to you. So again,
as bizarre as this episode has been with the information that we've been talking about, and let's get to my favorite part: speculation time.
Oh yeah.
How do we speculate on this information? Because it's just it's a lot to take in.
It is a lot to take in.
Hypothetically, tomorrow, contact. What happens? Apparently, contact just happened for Ron, and he is gone. So guys out there sitting. Let's see. George Knapp mentioned on 1510 of the Rogan podcast, timestamp 47, that he got info from Colonel Solkov about the aerial engagements in the Russia during the. Okay, cool. All right. I'm gonna go watch that episode because I actually remember watching that episode the first time it aired, but I need to go back and check it out again. Thanks, Seth. So okay, yeah. Pat says hypothetically, contact happens tomorrow. I'm not going to work. Ron is gone. He has left the building. So Jen earlier mentioned that society freaks out, civilization crumbles, people lose their minds. Me, you guys all know me. I was a pastor for many years, and knowing what I know about the church and how it works, there's a large group of people who would melt down, I believe, who would not be able to process the information. But I do believe that there is a broader amount of people of all faiths who would be a little bit more tolerant towards some kind of contact experience, something along those lines, and be a little bit more accepting, because there's the Catholic Church has made moves, the Pope has made moves, coming out and saying things, and that clearly that if this is the case, then they're part of creation as well. And I remember back here up near the a little while ago, Boone had made a comment that reflected that. I didn't get a chance to hit that one, but you're dealing with something where at mass, a lot of people, I think, would knee-jerk reaction, right? Freak out, but then maybe come around to it, as long as it wasn't like an earth ending, like, hey, we're here now, you're all our slaves. As long as it's not something like that, like if it's this Star Trek utopia kind of thing where they come in and want to bring us into the Galactic Federation as partners, I could see that being something that wouldn't be too frowned upon. I think a lot of people would be a lot more accepting of that. But Mountain Adventure says, I think they've been here all along. We may be an experiment. No, you're on it, man. I think that's extremely accurate, because there's mentions in every religious text of strange phenomena in the skies and weird lights. Ron is back.
Wow, that was fun.
We've got Jeffrey Sill says, I've had encounters. I believe my response will be a mix between excitement and finally. I think that's kind of where I would be as well, man. I do think mainstream would freak out. Yeah, I think mainstream media and all that would lose it. They wouldn't know where to go.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have
I've witnessed many UFOs on the ranch. Mountain Adventures, you should reach out to us sometime. We'd love to talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
Get a hold of us over on Facebook, or shoot us an email at wildandweirdwv@gmail.com. It is wildandweirdwv@gmail.com. Let us know what you've seen, man. I think it'd be fun to talk about. I'm believing I'm going to look over. I think this is Ada. Great show this evening.
Thank you. Just wait till next Thursday.
Right.
We're going to actually have a special guest next Thursday. I just confirmed it this morning. Reverend Michael J.
Woo.
Carter, yes, from Ancient Aliens, will be joining us once again. Our good friend will be back to help us cipher through some of this crazy mess. And we're going to be talking about everything, the implications. This will be a good speculation episode for you for sure. But we're also going to look at some of the data at that point, and just
this is a really interesting concept, and we actually talked and teased with it on the show before, about the possibility there could be more humans off planet than on Earth, and what would it be like if we found out that there's more humans off planet than what we are here on Earth.
Well, I mean, we could just be one colony of many.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. We just don't know. And that's why I've always said, you notice that they're very leery of the word alien. There might be a reason they're leery of that word, So I don't know. This is the first time I actually heard someone say that different species, though. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. It said it was a different species, was not human. So Chelsea Kelly says there's a huge reflection of religious aspects in UFO phenomena. We just use different terms. But I agree with you. Most think very inside the religious box. It's
Yes, labels. That's correct.
We had talked about that while you were
yes.
off. Then Pat says religion is the lens through which people make sense of the world, so it would definitely be a big part of any disclosure process.
Well, we remember a couple of years ago they had that.
The Pope.
Yeah. Well, they had the big. Remember the big issue? They had the guy NASA. NASA hired the guy to.
Yep.
Yeah. That's in a past episode we did too. I can't remember which one that was, but yeah, that's right. So apparently they studied this in depth and how people would react.
Jeffrey Steele, we are located in, I'm in Hurricane and Ron is in Charleston area, but you can reach us over, because you said you can't share some of the information here, which is understandable, and we appreciate your anonymity on some of those things and your privacy. So if you would like to, you can head over to wildandweirdwv.com. Click on the report a sighting tab, and what that does is it'll bring up a little questionnaire. You can go fill out whatever information you want to there, but mainly the big description box. You can essentially that will open up your case with us, and you could share your data, you could share your experiences and anything like that from that point, and that would just start the string, and then we can respond through emails back and forth that way. Or if you want and you live in the area, if you're going to be in an area we're going to be in, or if you just want to try to schedule a time to meet up, we can do that.
We've done it before.
Yep.
But yeah, the website is probably the easiest way. You've got basically drop downs there, and it's easy.
That's a good one, because that harkens straight back to Valiant Thor.
Yeah.
And everything there, and why that all went.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons.
Says baptize them, give them casserole. Hopefully they're not like the aliens from that one movie Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix was in, where water kills them.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know y'all's opinion on the firmament mentioned in Genesis. If that's real, how would we go to others and come and go from this planet? Well, the firmament is an English, Latin
Please
word.
define the word for everyone, because they have no idea.
All right, I'm going to give you the root of this. Like, I don't want to screw it up. I've done a lot of research on this, but I'm tired and forgotten it, and I've been trying to. We had a leak here. It's been a lot going on the last week. But I believe it's Latin root. But I'm going to give you the breakdown here, because it is not
what you think it is.
It's not what a lot of people say it is, and I'm sure I'm going to get hate mail for it. But what don't I get hate mail for?
I don't know.
So
I don't pay attention to that anymore.
Right. The firmament. It's a literary term, and it does kind of harken back into the Latin word, and I don't want to misquote this, because this is going to be up on YouTube.
Yes, Facebook user, we will be in Wytheville, Virginia this Saturday, and we will be up speaking at 10:30. That will be our presentation time, and it's going to be very informative. I can promise you that. There will be data released there that no one has seen.
Yes, that you're going to have a really good time if you're able to make it to Wytheville, Virginia. Be there around 10. We're speaking at 10:30. It's going to be a blast. Or just hang out with us at the table. And
if you're an experiencer, definitely be there, because you're gonna feel good at the end of the day.
So the firmament has Latin roots. It's firmus is the name, and it basically just means firm. And this root word was taken from the Hebrew Rika. Now, this refers to a process of hammering metal into sheets, okay? Like taking metal and hammering it thin. So clearly and like Rika, I didn't have to look that up. I knew it because one of my things is like the biblical language and getting the words and dissecting stuff. I love that stuff. Anyway, so this Rika that is referred to like a hammered thin metal, clearly the firmament that what we refer to as the firmament now around the earth is not hammered thin metal. What it was describing was a very thin barrier, a very thin protection, a very thin atmosphere.
How would one know about that back then, Joseph?
You'd have to travel to it, maybe like Enoch.
Wait, what?
And you, because Enoch would have visibly seen this, if according to his account of being taken off world, he saw this, the same thing that we see.
He saw the curvature of the earth.
Well, not just the curvature of the earth,
but that's what he says.
But you see this. There's almost this halo of protection around the planet that you can see in all these photos of Earth. It looks like there's a very thin, paper thin. Another time that Rika is used is there's a verse in English, and I can't remember the numbers and chapters and book, but Seth might be able to hook me up here. It is when the sword be as sharp as a double-edged sword that can pierce through joint and marrow. That same word is used there again, and it's a very, very fine layer that is being described between our bone in the joints. It separates without going through the joint. It can go through the joint, very thin. That same word is used again to describe how thin that layer is, about how sharp that double-edged sword needs to be or is. And it can go through and separate joints without separating that thin layer. And this is the same word that's used to describe the firmament, which is where firmament gets its name from. And it's not like a hard bubble that we can't escape or nothing can come in. It was a word that was taken. It was a word that was taken and translated roughly, and then brought into Latin, then brought into, actually it was translated from Hebrew to Greek to Latin to English. And through those iterations, they're trying to find the best word that fits, because so many Aramaic, Hebrew, and Arabic words have multiple meanings. Particularly, you've heard me say this before if you're listening to the show, words like love, there's 8, I think, distinct words in Hebrew that mean love, and we have 1. So apply that same principle here. We had 8 words. They're like, okay, it's going to mean something like this, so we're just going to grab it, and this is the best fit we can make sometimes. And that's how a lot of that was translated. So understanding the lexicon and the way these verbs were used is extremely important. And when we look back at that, that's where firmament comes from. And it doesn't mean an actual dome or protective shield as much as it is just a very thin layer.
Well, the whole thing is, if there were a dome or protective shield over the earth, explain that. Okay, you can't, right? So, look, Sky Daddy proves no. I'm just saying no.
Yep.
No. I'm sorry, I had to do that. You just fell into it. And then besides, Adam's been trying to get Sky Daddy all night. So
Pat says define casserole. Depending on what kind, we might start a war. It's possible.
It's possible.
And then Seth says we can make various types of casserole just to be safe.
What we're saying,
have a good variety.
Well, here's my thing, guys, and I'm gonna, as we're coming up on the end, I want to make sure everybody understands this, okay? Because this is setting us up for next week. We'll be having, like I said, we'll be discussing this again. We'll have a longer discussion on it. But we,
guys, I love you guys.
we have to remember, again, that aside from, a couple of, just a couple of instances, out of the millions and millions and millions of these people who have come forward at this point.
Angie must be new. She's never seen
Hello,
Sky Daddy
Angie.
McConaughey. Thanks for joining us, Angie.
I'm glad it didn't scare you away. You'll understand soon. It's just something we do. You can blame Adam. Everyone else does. Again, it seems that we are the aggressors here. I've talked to many experiencers. I am an experiencer, not to the extent of some of these people, but to the extent of others, yes. And I'm telling you that I do not think that is the quote way. This is not how these beings act. If they wanted us gone, we would have been gone thousands of years ago. Evidence shows that not only did they not want us gone, they wanted to help us to be here in some way or form. They've made a point to do that. So don't be afraid. That's what I'm trying to get at to you. I guess fear not, because we don't know what it is. Fear is I'm not going to do the Yoda thing, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. You know what fear leads to, right? So
Fear leads to anger.
That's
Anger
right.
leads to hate.
Hate leads to someone firing missiles and causing an intergalactic war. Yes, that's correct. Exactly like that. And who knows? Maybe we did.
Yeah, it's a really.
Oh my gosh. She only listens. Oh, you have missed it. Now you understand.
Oh, now you finally you are one of the people who
See?
crossed over.
See? Right there. That's why people come here.
Yeah.
But to make it better, though, Angie,
Thank you for listening, Angie.
on the actual podcast, Sky Daddy doesn't show up. So
yeah.
it's okay.
Unless you're looking out your window one day and just maybe.
If that happens, then
I really need a Sky Daddy McConaughey t-shirt.
yeah. We've talked about that. We have actually talked about that.
So guys,
yeah, see right there. They're in our airspace, is not the other way around that we know of. Space Force.
right. Cue that.
Yeah, right.
So Angie, now that you're hanging out here with us, go subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you can get all of our other videos. And now that you found us on YouTube, go back and watch some of our investigation videos. You can actually see a lot of the real-time data that we collect that you've heard us talk about on the show multiple times.
These are fair questions that you're asking Mountain Adventure. What would they do if we were in their airspace? Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's amazing that everyone thinks that, I mean, to an extent, yeah. But here's the thing. They're acting like there's one. See, I did that forever. There's not just one, by the way. There's many. And maybe not some may not like us. Let's just be real. Sure. Okay, that's fair. Let's go that route. But there are some that do, and there's some that's gone out of their way to make sure that we are still here. Because believe me, if history has showed us anything, we would have destroyed ourselves countless times at this point without some kind of intervention. And history has shown that time and time again. There's multiple accounts of these near literal ends of our world that you can go back and look at. I remember there was a massive asteroid that just skimmed off the Earth's atmosphere back in the 70s. Did it just skim off the Earth's atmosphere? I don't know. I'm just right. Exactly, because there was those was the domes over in Russia. Remember in Siberia? They said that those things came out of the ground and they fired at basically things. They think that they were ancient deterrent devices. They were there to protect. It sounds ludicrous, but again, at this point, I don't know what's real and what's not. So
before we go off here, can you queue up the Logan footage?
Logan, which one? The craft.
The craft,
thing?
yeah.
I can do a side by side. Yeah,
Okay.
I've got that one. The Salt Fork.
So again, guys, look at these. This is moving at a high rate of speed.
This is
Both
Logan.
times these are captured on thermal.
Only on thermal.
They're not visible to the naked eye. They're not visible on traditional night vision goggles. Do you have the Logan one where it does that J hook? We had it the other day.
I know. I went through and cleaned some of these up.
Oh, gotcha.
But hang on, I might be able to find it. Let me see. There's that one. There's this one.
Because
Laser.
what we're seeing in these things is what's being detected all over the world. It was it was actually mentioned, I believe it wasn't in the NASA meeting where they said that these metal
orbs are appearing all over the world. That's
all
the
over the world.
finding.
They're being detected all over the world.
But they're perfectly okay. They're not aliens. It's
They're like, we don't know what they are.
But but it's okay. They're not going to hurt us, according to them. Uh-oh.
Only the Jedi can save us now.
What is it? You broke up there for a second.
Pat said the Sith Lords are coming. The infinite empire is upon us.
Hey,
only the Jedi can save us now.
You just never know, do you?
Well, it depends on how you view Star Wars.
It really does.
Who really was the big G government people in Star Wars, according to the prequels?
Here's a stabilized clip. I wonder if that's it. This might be it.
Yeah, those suckers really are moving. It's a lot like the Go Fast video. We if we had the other one,
processing.
We actually zoomed in really close, and you can go back and watch some of the other stuff where we ran those, but it looks almost like the gimbal and Go Fast. Oh, here it is. When we zoomed in, you can almost see it right now. There's like a black ring around that object, even at its 2-time or 1-time zoom, which I think native is 3-time zoom. But you see that other object just pop in, and
this is when they all just started showing up.
They just poof, 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 poof.
No, that was a bird. That little middle one that went zigzaggy, that was a bird.
That was a bird.
That in the middle is a bird,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because it oscillates.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what that was, because that was moving extremely fast. I slowed that clip down, actually.
So,
but, yeah, they're out there. I mean, again, we don't know what in the world they are at this point, but there's something out there that's definitely buzzing around, and I think a lot of people are kind of figuring that out at this point. What is it?
Boone gets it. The Empire was the good guys. There's a reason why Ahsoka left the Jedi Order. And old Count Dooku.
Well, the Jedi were just, let's be real. They were flawed.
Yep.
I mean, call it by what it is. I mean, they were basically a cult. They were just kind of holding the stuff for themselves,
right. This is our secret information.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's almost like it was a secret organization within the government that was keeping.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Could such a thing be true? Could it be possible? Nope, that was you out on the trail. That's not it. Well, we'll have to find it for him. But I'll find it. Yeah, if you're coming to Wytheville, you'll see it. It's actually in the presentation.
Yep. And the way this thing was moving, and the reason I wanted to show that is I'm referencing back to the NASA meeting.
Yeah.
And how they were saying that these things they're not extraterrestrial. They're not, and Kirkpatrick specifically, that they're not displaying
any
any
abnormal,
kind of unnatural, abnormal, or things that go against our known laws of physics.
Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken,
this thing is moving at an insane clip, and all of a sudden does a 45-degree back turn on itself. If there was something in that, it would have turned into jello against the wall.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Pow!
Yeah, it's not happening. Actually, it may be over on the website. I'm going to go here.
It is on the website, and I know it's on YouTube. It's got its own standalone video on YouTube, so you guys can go back and look that up. It's the Logan footage. It's especially Angie, since you're new to the YouTube, go back. That's one of the ones that we've talked about a lot on the radio show. So you've heard us talk about it 1,000 times. Go back and watch it. It's like, I think, a 2-minute, 3-minute clip, and you get to watch it in loop a few times, sped up, slowed down, all that good stuff, and zoomed in.
Oh yeah, we did a lot of work on this thing. I mean, and talked to a lot of people. Peer review. Let's mention that again.
Yeah.
We had a lot of our stuff peer reviewed by multiple people. Here you go. Here's your
comments is going Star Wars crazy. I love it. These are our people.
Yeah, I thought I heard R2 there for a second. I hit the wrong button. Yeah, so there's the link. You guys copy that and pop that in. They'll take you to the sightings section, and there's a whole write-up on that sighting and all the weird stuff that happened, and then subsequent stuff there. And there's a missing data there for a July event, but that's only missing until after
This weekend.
After this weekend. I'll promise I'll fill that in for the rest of you guys. But everybody else who's there, you're going to get to see some footage that has never been released and some data that has never been shown to anyone. But I'll give you a preview. We had an incident last July, and I was outside and I was looking up at the sky. I just got a new satellite tracking app, and I was playing with it. And I was looking up at the sky, and I saw this incredibly bright light that just kind of like came up over. It just kind of appeared there. I was like, wait, that star wasn't there before, And the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, that's not a star. Hang on a second. What are you? So I grabbed my phone. I was going to check it to see, what it was, and then I thought, no, I'm going to take a picture of this thing and get it on video. So I brought my phone up. I said, I'm bringing my phone up to this thing. I can see it out of my eyes. As soon as I put my phone on it and I have it where it should be in the viewfinder, it's gone. There's nothing there. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I immediately called Joe and told him what was going on. And then that whole night, I went in and I got my wife, and we ended up just sitting on the back deck staring at the sky till like 2:30 in the morning. I set up cameras. I did some laser things, and yeah, we got some interesting results that night. So you'll get to see that, and it was very interesting.
Yeah, guys, again, if you can, make it out to Wytheville. This is going to be an amazing, amazing show. It was awesome last year. We got to meet a lot of great people. The presentation is phenomenal.
You're welcome.
So, after this weekend, we're actually going to be announcing a date for the Bigfoot workshop.
Yes, and it's going to go fast. So if you're interested, get in when it drops.
You guys are right now. You guys who are listening right now are the first ones to be notified about it. But we've worked out a couple loose dates, and I've just got to nail one down, and we are going to be announcing that.
And for those who don't know what we're talking about, why don't you explain that?
Oh yeah, Boone came out to the inaugural workshop that we did, and he'd been to the very first Wild and Weird Con and been to a few of the workshops there as well. Had him good with another super chat. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Adam.
Awesome. We appreciate you. But the workshop is going to be kicking off, guys. It's an absolute ball. Mountain Adventures, take care of you too, man.
Thank you, Mountain Adventures. Please drop by next Thursday. We will have a continuation of this with our special guest from Ancient Aliens here with us.
Yeah. So So the workshop, basically the way the workshop runs is we do a run through of how we conduct our research in the field. You get to learn how to use the equipment, the tools, all of the information that we can possibly dump on you in a single day's time frame. Then we eat. We all have a big campfire cookout meal. I cook it up for us. We get hot dogs, barbecues, burgers, you name it. We will try to pull it out. Then, if you want to, if you're hanging around, we go out and you get to put everything that you've learned to use in one of our research areas. Teresa was actually at the Bigfoot workshop, the first one. And she had a great time. It was good night, Deucer.
Good night, brother. Thank you for showing up. Get him up there.
There we go.
There he is. Oh, here's his book, by the way.
Yeah, here's the eye in the sky, right?
Yeah. Let me see if I can get it to work this time.
Oh yeah, you're wearing
I got it this time. There it is. You guys can see that, right?
When is the workshop? I keep missing on Pat. We're gonna announce that probably Wednesday, but we'll send you a message.
You won't miss it.
You won't miss this one.
I'll make sure you're there.
Yeah, it will be at Canoa State Forest, but we're gonna be announcing the date soon. Like I said, probably about Wednesday or Thursday of next week, we'll have that nailed down for everybody.
There will be radiological detection equipment on hand.
Everything will be there.
Just say.
We will have all
everything will be there. Even things you haven't seen yet will be there. So yeah.
When we go out prepared.
Paranormal preppers.
Yeah.
That's
so.
I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
So you definitely want to catch that and hang out with us there. It's a great time. We had people last year that drove in from Tennessee. We had people that drove in from, I think the farthest one we had at one of the workshops was actually somebody that came in from Missouri. So that was really cool.
That is cool.
And, but guys, it's an absolute blast. So stay tuned. That announcement's going to be coming.
There, go grab you one of those. You're wearing that, Yep. We'll get you something.
Get you a paranormal prepper shirt and show up.
Get you a paranormal prepper shirt. Let's go over to our store. You'll find it there.
See you next Saturday, Seth, man. It's good hanging out with you. We need to get together, man. I miss you, buddy. And but it's a great time. Plus, how many other times in your life can you say that you went out and went on a Bigfoot field investigation workshop with the 2022 Bigfoot Forums?
Oh, yeah.
Researchers of the Year.
Of the year, yeah. I forgot about that. I keep forgetting that we did that. Yeah. So, I mean, it's very affordable. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we keep them very affordable.
And it's a lot of fun. It's not like one of those $100 deals. It's nothing like that. So,
Boone says the workshops are amazing, folks. It's a big family event, lots of knowledge and food. I drove 8 hours for it.
It's a party.
I'll forget that evening. It's
a party, and you learn stuff during the party. We have giveaways. You're going to win something probably. I think everybody won something one time.
Everybody's got a gift.
Did anybody just hear that, or was that just in my audio?
Just in your audio.
Did anyone hear what I just heard in your audio?
Did it go out? I didn't pick it up on my side. Did it go out from there?
No, but it gave me cold chills. Yes, I heard it.
Ada said, yes, I did.
You heard it, right? Like that whisper thing?
Pat says I didn't hear it. Well, it is Wayne Barnes' birthday.
Dude, that was weird. I have goosebumps. Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Like literally. Look.
Jeffrey says I heard it. Boone
I'm
says
not kidding. My hair on my arm is standing straight up. Look at that. That's crazy.
Me and Pat didn't get it.
That was wild.
It's jumped on, said I heard it.
What did you hear? What did it sound like to you? Let's make sure it wasn't one of those perception things where everybody heard something different.
Everybody won. Tom stamp it. Yeah, it was like around 10. Oh, what was it? 10:04.
Yeah, it's when I was talking about passing out the prizes, and yeah, that was Wayne who did that.
Wayne did all the prize passing out, and it was a lot of his artwork involved. And today's his birthday.
Hey, I'm okay if that was Wayne. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm glad to have him back on.
Jeffrey still says it happened on Everybody Won.
Okay.
So
that's
when you
where
said
it was.
Everybody Won.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm gonna have to.
I'm gonna write that down.
Sweet.
And
well, I'll definitely download this and see if we can figure out what in the world that was. But it sounded just like a signal came over. That was the wildest thing.
All right, Everybody Won anomaly sound.
Wow. Spooky stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, you just never know what's going to happen. That's why you want to come on this, come on this workshop. I mean, come on, the last workshop, look what happened there if you don't know. I mean.
Yeah. Yep, the last workshop, there was a tremendous thermal capture of possible Sasquatch.
Yeah, and which ended up with more things in the sky, radiation spikes.
Next day, yeah.
Multiple witnesses. It just, the weird stuff follows. So yeah, by all means, be there, guys. It'll be fun.
Boone says I couldn't understand it. It sounded like some Wayne gibberish. Ada, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us again. We appreciate you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys for being here. It's been a heck of a show. I told you it was going to be a good show.
Yeah, good show.
Did I let you down? Are you not amused? Are you not enthralled? Are you not entertained?
Not entertained.
Yes. Exactly. If you are entertained, make sure that you are sharing, and subscribing to this. We've been picking up some incredibly new people just every week, and it makes me happy to see that little number just keep going up and up. That means you guys like what we're doing, so we're going to keep doing it. That's what I'm saying. We also have a very, 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 very special announcement coming up. Once we get back from the show, we're going to do that giveaway thing because we're overdue. Because we told you.
Yeah, because we hit our mile marker.
Yeah.
We hit our milestone.
Yeah.
And you guys pushed us.
And that's just for you guys. That's just for you guys. So
just for the YouTube listeners.
Yep.
And we might even do it on the live just for the people who are in the live.
Yeah. Probably just do that to the announcement. Joe, why don't you go ahead and wind it down, take us home so we can call it an evening.
Well, everybody, if you want to catch us on the road, you're going to want to do that in 2 days. We're going to be at the Wytheville UFO Festival. We're speaking at 10:30. We're kicking off the day as hard as humanly possible because that, I'm telling you, this is going to be an epic presentation. Then you can come out and hang out with us all day long. We're going to be at the table. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be taking reports. We're going to be speaking with everybody who wants to come up and give us their accounts. Anybody who just wants to come hang out. Our booth turns into the party booth. Everybody knows it at this point. So, come be a part of the family. It's going to be a good time. Also, don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Throw out as many likes as you can. Tell all your other weird friends about this show. I personally, I do my part. I went out. I was at Home Depot the other day, and somebody liked the shirt that I had on, and it was one of the Mothman shirts. So I slapped a business card out of my wallet. I said, "Hey, if you like this stuff, go give this website a look at. Go give our YouTube a listen and follow us. Keep up because we actually do this stuff. I'm not wearing this just because I like it. This is what I do." And they were subscribed. They were actually, before I was leaving, there were other people who were listening to me talk to her who came over and took pictures of the business card. And can't beat it. That's the way you get out and you yourself can become a paranormal ambassador. Now, if you've had a sighting or an experience that you would like to share with us, you can go over to wildandweirdwv.com. Click on the sightings tab, like we'd mentioned earlier, and you're going to get a description list. You're going to get a small questionnaire, just the basics, but it's going to be detailed basics, but it's easy to fill out. It walks you through the whole process, and then you will send that report directly into us. We're the only eyes that see it. Unless you give us the authorized permission to publicize your account, it stays anonymous. The majority of our reports live in our records and stay with us, and they don't get shared. So that's just some proof of the pudding for you. If you want to come out and support Wild and Weird Radio to keep it free for eons to come, now you can join us here live on the Super Chat. You can jump in, you can make donations, and you can help fund Wild and Weird Radio and keep it free for eons and eons to come. Or you can go over to wildandweirdwb.com, click the shop tab, and it's going to be able to give you a list of places where you can go and peruse our wares. Then, lastly, but not leastly, do not forget, keep an eye out on all of our social media networks. Keep an eye out on our YouTube for new content. The only way you're going to be able to do that is if you go to the pages, like, subscribe, because now Facebook makes you subscribe as well. YouTube, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime there's fresh content, you're getting it sent straight to your phone. You're going to get an alert. You don't got to go watch it right now, but just remember, it's a good reminder. You can go back
there's going to be a new, there's going to be a very new thing you're going to want to watch that's going to be coming up probably by next month. So definitely do that. Can we announce the what was it, the code or whatever it was? Because we never mentioned that yet. I don't know if we're cleared to do that or not.
Which code?
For the magazine.
Oh, I don't think so. It'll probably be next week's episode.
Okay,
I'm
next
not
week's
sure if it's
episode.
live yet or not.
All right, cool. All right then.
So I believe it is, but I don't want to misdirect them.
I know we made number 6 in
Yes.
Paranormal Maladies magazine this month. Everybody go out and vote for us again. We're trying to hit number 1. If we hit number 1, we're going to do another crazy thing. So, and we don't really care if we hit number 1. It's just kind of a goal at this point. It's a game. It's a game.
It's fun.
It's a game.
So, you guys,
Boone.
thanks for hanging out with us. Boone, stay wild and weird, everybody, and good night. Taking my line, man.
I know he did, didn't he? What are you going to do about that? Hey, I saw Lee doing this little number the other day.
I did.
Did you see that?
Still in my post.
Did you see that?
Still, it's blatant. Lee, this
Yeah.
is neat all the time since
Yeah.
like 2000 forever.
Yeah.
That's
go.
neat. Thumbs up, Lee. I'm coming at you, man. We're
Oh
gonna
boy.
doppelganger this out because people already confuse us. Because
Oh, geez. It's so
we're
much of a
ruggedly
confusion.
handsome when we wear the same hat and have a beard.
Oh,
drop dead
my God.